Ready?
Yeah, sure.
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. It's my first time, too.
What is going on, movie meals? Look at this. The Weaver Wire podcast is back, and I got 3 good-looking gentlemen. All right, 2 good-looking gentlemen. They can fight over who is not the good-looking.
It's me.
You know him, you love him in the middle there. Partner in crime of Movie Meals, Kyle Brester.
What's up?
Say hello. And Nick Weaver, my brother's been on the podcast a couple of times. And over on the end, we got another Alex in the building, Alex Augusta, good friend of ours. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. It's been a while. 2019, I haven't had one in months. I've only had 4 total. 4 or 5, I don't remember. You let me know, Movie Meals.
Year?
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
It was a rough September. Movie Meals, it was a rough September, but you remember, I want to bring the Weaver Wire back. I miss the Weaver Wire. I like running a little podcast, having nice conversations about movies. You guys know what I'm talking about. Finally got the other Alex on, and he's been excited. Remember to project, gentlemen. All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into it, guys. Go check out Kyle and I top 10 movies of 2018. So we're going to do a quick top 5 for these two. Tell us what they are. What were your top 5 movies of 2018? Kyle, feel free to chime in and slap them and hit them as much as you want.
Sweet.
So which one are you starting?
He is.
All right. What's your top 5, Alex?
Top 5 best or worst?
Best. Oh, best.
Best first. Number 1, Avengers: Infinity War.
I like it.
Number 2, Spider-Man: Into the Spider-Verse.
Like that too.
Number 3, Black Panther.
Like that one.
Number 4, First Man. And number
Ooh.
5, Tag.
I'm really happy he said that one because I was debating about putting it in my honorable mentions. Like that one is the top really funny.
Yeah.
Alex goes, Alex, it's in my top 5. Kyle's like, I liked it enough where it was almost in my honorable mentions of my top
Almost.
10.
No, that one's a really.
You
good
sent
one.
me Tag earlier, and I got so happy. I was like on everybody's list, on everybody's list, on everybody's list, on everybody's list. Not on everybody's list, but I love it. Tag on the list. Why is Tag on the list?
Well, I was looking at the 8s, and Tag was surprised me the most out of all the 8s that I had. Out of
wait,
10.
What are the
out of my
eights?
list. I rate all the movies. in my
Oh,
notes.
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
The notes on his cellular device.
thank you for clarifying.
Now, Nick, rattle your top 5.
Yeah.
Number 1, Spider-Man. Number 2, Black Panther, but those were pretty close. 3 was First Man. Now this next one is gonna get that guy upset. But 4, Annihilation,
I love
That
Annihilation.
one's
and
great.
5, Upgrade.
Yes.
Upgrade.
We've had conversations about
Yeah,
Upgrade. It's too good.
I've also
Upgrade
seen
just
Upgrade.
Blew me away.
Alex, please, we're having a conversation.
We're having a
Oh, that's my show. Yeah, Upgrade's amazing.
Yeah,
Upgrade's very
Annihilation is a good callback.
Yeah.
So you don't like Annihilation?
Not a huge fan of Annihilation, no.
why
Well, let's start digging.
Hey, it's Alex's show.
Yeah, it's my Why not?
I got you.
Well, all right.
Sorry.
This is a great start. Thank you, Kyle. Went in high expectations. Went in thinking similar thoughts to Annihilation, which Annihilation surprised me. I mean, what's the other movie? Arrival. That's the one. Have you guys seen Arrival?
Yeah. Love
Of course I've
Yeah,
seen
I
Arrival.
love Arrival.
Arrival's brilliant.
But
It's
I
a
don't
masterpiece.
Like Annihilation.
They're made by different directors.
Star different people.
Yeah, but they're very
Different movies.
But they're both hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yes. The last 30 minutes of Annihilation made me so uncomfortable in my chair that I love it. I was just so confused and like, what the heck is going on? What am I watching here? And
You cried in a theater.
I did not cry in the theater. You said you would never bring that up!
Yeah, no, I think it was awesome. I think it did a great job at like keeping the tension throughout the movie. That things like A Quiet Place
Oh.
that I didn't really
Yeah,
like.
you're not a
I
good
don't
big
think
Quiet
did very
Place
well.
guy.
He's
wrong.
And then, it was your typical sci-fi horror movie, but then the last act, especially the end sequence, really put things in perspective. And I'm always thinking about it. Like, it's just a movie that stayed with me. That's why it made my top 5.
Let's not forget also, like, the visual effects were probably some of the best of that year, and it's kind of a shame because it's probably going to be snubbed in, like, the coming awards, including Oscars.
I don't know. It might sneak in on some of those technical awards. I could see a visual effects
The
nomination.
score was also pretty brilliant.
I agree.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
And Natalie Portman killed it.
Yeah, she did.
All
And
the-
Tessa
all the-
Thompson, all of them.
the
Yeah,
ladies
they
in
all
that
did
movie
great.
Killed it.
Yeah.
Gina wasn't it
Listen,
wasn't Gina Rodriguez.
I wasn't expecting to talk about Annihilation. Was expecting to
That's
talk
what we do
about
here on the
Annihilation.
Weaver Wire. You don't expect what's coming next. Star Wars, Christmas, still up. All right, continue.
What?
No, what were you saying?
That's all I had to say about that.
You just weren't expecting to talk about it?
Didn't impress me as much as Arrival, is all I have to say about that.
But
If
why
I
were
to
you
compare them.
comparing the two going in?
Because they both felt very similar to me. Because you don't see hard sci-fi very often anymore.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I love
And you're hoping
Arrival.
it
I
was
think
like
Arrival's a
another
masterpiece.
Arrival.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know if it. I mean, I did like a lot of the visuals as you were describing. Yeah,
Thank you.
obviously, and the idea is really interesting. I just don't know if it took it like far enough, and I think the ending. I don't know if I just didn't get it, or maybe like itself was a little confused and it left it kind of
It was like,
ambiguous.
eh.
Yeah. So I was exactly kind of like
Oh.
at the movie. I mean, it
Well,
wasn't.
that's fair enough. Can't change your mind, or can I?
I mean, maybe
This
if you
got
really get
weird.
in there.
Oh, wow. You
This
guys
got
excited
intense.
for, because you brought up Arrival and I was thinking, are you excited for Dune from Denis Villeneuve?
Yeah, I'm excited anything he does.
They just
I just want to see
added
everything he does.
Dave Bautista to the cast along with Timothy Chalamet, who are going
Oh,
to be in
that's
it.
interesting.
Yeah,
That might be a
I
good break for
watched the original Dune recently.
Yeah.
The
Does
David
not-
Lynch one?
Does not hold up.
The David Lynch one?
Yeah.
Did
you
it
know
ever
the one-
hold up? Was it
you
ever
know the
up?
one-
That's the question. Not a big
Yeah,
fan of
it
that
Stick
one.
Before asking it to get up.
I mean, I saw a flying turd and I didn't know what was going on. Yeah.
Yeah, been there a couple times. All right, so we just want to do a quick rattle of the best of the year, but I really want to talk about the worst of the year because it's some Kyle and I didn't make a video of because we don't go see the critically panned movies that often, and there were a few movies we saw that I know we hate with a passion that we may have made a review about, but I want to talk about it, especially because those two over there, Kyle and Alex. They got a little, not you. They got a little debate I want to hear about Alex's
okay.
worst movies of the year.
Sure,
So
sure.
everybody, we're gonna go down the row. We'll start with
Alex.
young Nick. Okay, we'll start with Alex. It is always Nick's show. Just give us a couple of your worst movies of the year, movies you did not enjoy or hated with a passion, and we'll just go down and get them out there first, and then we'll talk about it.
All right. The Meg.
Oh.
That's up there. That's way up there. Pacific Rim Uprising.
Yes.
Also,
Yeah,
some would say Pacific
we
Rim.
had a rough time in the theater together.
Jurassic World 2.
Now, some would say that would be Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
It shouldn't even have a name.
Who cares?
Yeah, Jurassic World. Who cares?
I care quite a bit.
Predator
Yeah, that one.
and Venom.
Yes.
Done!
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on Venom. Like, I don't get why people are like, it's so bad, it's good. Like, I just think it's not a very.
I
great
feel
movie.
like that
I feel like
community
they
is
missed the
very
mark.
small.
They felt like it felt like it missed the mark entirely on what their end game was for Venom,
Check our
and now
review out.
they're like trying to play catch up and seeing like how people are receiving this movie with like the Blu-ray and directed digital commercials coming out, which I think is smart. Like, I will give them credit for that. Like, they're fixing their marketing scheme for it now, but I feel like it was a movie that was trying to be one thing, but it ended up being something else that just whiffed on the characters.
See, I think the so bad it's good is with a lot of Marvel or like comic book fans. I think the common audience loves Venom, and I think they just have a fun time with it, and they have a fun time with the banter.
Again,
And I don't think they think it's a bad movie. I think they love it, and that's
A lot
why
of
it made more money than Wonder Woman. It's a
Yeah.
better film. That's what the
that's
box
not-
office says.
that's not-
It's a
that's-
joke, young man. It's a joke.
But no, I'm right there with you on Venom. That one is probably in my list too.
That's
Of worst of the year, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's your list? Rattle off a few. It's not there's no list. Just rattle off a few.
Yeah, so Venom would be in that list as well. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Pacific Rim Uprising that both made me mad in the theater. Red Sparrow, I think, is not that great of a movie, unlike what some people are saying. Like, I didn't dig it as
I forgot that
as
came
much.
out.
It's I wouldn't even say it's one of the worst of the year, but it was just one that I think was just not. I was not on the same page as everyone else was, but I think definitely the worst movie of the year was this movie called Gringo that came out like beginning of last year. No one went to see it, and for good reason, but I went to see it, and it's not good at all. It's just.
Oh,
So
that
bad.
movie! I had to look it up because I got the laptop access because it's my show, and I forgot this movie existed.
Yeah, I mean, it looked so promising. It looked funny. It starred Joel Edgerton, Charlize Theron, and David Oyelowo, who I wanted all three of them to see in a comedy, and just it
Michael
sounded
Jackson's
interesting
daughter's
as
in
well. Who?
Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris Jackson. Wow, good for her.
Anyway, no, the movie is awful. It's not what it makes it out to be, and it's just a whole train wreck. Like, after watching the first 15 minutes, I was just thinking, oh no, why am I in this? And I still stayed through it, and it was not fun. I was very disappointed.
I'm glad he didn't invite me to that.
Yeah. Gonna be honest, never even heard of that.
Oh,
movie.
no one's heard of it.
I
Like,
hadn't
it
heard
came
of
out at
it.
the beginning
I
of the
just
year,
forgot.
and it made no money, and for good reason. Like, I was the only sucker that was like, hey, this could be good, and no.
He didn't even invite me to go.
I did.
Not even friends
I
anymore.
did.
Yep.
I probably saved you.
All right, Nick. What are a couple of your worst movies of the year?
I think my least favorite is Pacific Rim. It sucked. Really bad.
You heard it here first.
And then the next couple are really in no order. I all dislike them a lot. The Happy Time Murders. That's what it's called.
Underwhelming.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
wasn't very good. And I'm just not a big Melissa McCarthy fan.
I still want to see that movie.
So-
she's getting nominated
Call me
for
by your
it.
name. Wait, no. That's not. Can you ever forgive me?
Yeah, I was about to say it's Can You Ever Forgive Me, but yeah, I just wanted to let you have your good time with Call Me By Your Name. Melissa
Just
McCarthy
go on
hanging out with a
tangents.
peach? Is that what's going on?
Who? What?
Huh?
What?
Only people who've seen Call Me By Your Name should get that reference. Anyway.
Oh, Peach. Okay, yeah. I
And
didn't know
then
what he said.
Jurassic World is up there. The Predator was not very good. And then one of them that is going to surprise some people, maybe, Aquaman. I hated Aquaman.
I really thought you were going to throw Vice out there because I know you how much you rag on Vice.
Vice was better than Aquaman. Vice had redeeming. Aquaman was
So what's the problem with Aquaman?
everything.
Leave it
Give
there.
us the biggest thing you hated about the movie. I've heard the rant, but I want the viewers to hear the rant.
Oh my! I think there's a lot of issues with it. I think it's tonally super unfocused. The structure is really bad,
I said one problem.
and the dialogue is really bad. Like during the movie, there's one scene that I can remember, and Jason Momoa walks in and he's like, "That's badass," and it's
It
like.
was.
But you're like, oh, so you're making me think that I should think this movie's badass, even though there's just nothing here. And the visuals that everyone's been freaking out about just didn't impress me, and they just felt like classic CGI.
Yeah.
And
You know,
nothing,
making
nothing,
things look good for a
nothing
minute there.
visually interesting because
Seriously?
nothing really mattered. Like
That trench scene's pretty
like
cool.
what I would say a visually interesting movie is this year is like Roma, that does interesting things with the camera. And when you look at a
Slow
movie,
pans.
Oh,
And
Nick
but-
loves a good.
but when you look at like a movie that
That's Roma.
that pushed forward more visual effects, like I would look to something like Annihilation or even like Avengers: Infinity War. But Aquaman just felt like pure shit.
Don't swear on my show, young
his
man.
show.
It's my show. It's the Weaver Wire. And you're a Weaver, but it doesn't count.
Yeah,
The
there.
swearing show with Nick.
Pure Finkel matter.
Thank you, Alex. This is why we bring a classy guy like you on the show.
My goodness.
I'll throw a couple bad ones out there. I really, the more I have thought about it, I've loathed over it, is they're having a good time with it.
Everyone's drinking.
The more I've thought about it, the more I loathe The Predator. So I hate it. Another movie, this movie I don't loathe as much, but I really hate it, and that's The Predator. I just can't stand that movie. And yeah, The Predator is my worst movie of the year. I don't even need to talk about others because I physically hate The Predator the more I've thought about it since seeing it. I absolutely hated it.
Well,
Laughed like 3 times in the movie, and outside of that, why are you giggling?
There's some funny jokes in the movie.
I'll give it a funny joke. There's a couple funny jokes in all the movies
that's
you're
more
saying.
than Aquaman has.
That's just beyond not true.
even I have to
That's
agree
just
with that
beyond
one.
not true.
I
No, I can't.
hate Aquaman.
I hate the Predator.
Well, for the majority of these movies that we've listed, like the one common thread that I have noticed is like they all have
Are bad.
They all have bad writing. Like they all don't have like interesting stories, or the stories are really lacking, and that's like the biggest thing I've noticed this year.
Which, yeah, it's
like,
ca-
if
lack
you
of
don't
character
have a good
development.
story, if you don't have characters for us to latch onto or care about or want to have an investment in, like the rest of the story is gonna.
These are James. This is
Not
James
good.
Wan. It's why am I forgetting his name? It's Shane Black. These are great writers, and they made crap.
I mean, even the Pacific
Fecal
Rim-
matter, if you will.
Pacific Rim Uprising has a terrific director too, but it's.
I just
story
don't know
was
who
lacking.
wrote it.
I'm spacing on who wrote it now too, but for whatever reason, like it just for the majority of these movies, like the stories are just not there. Like they're not interesting. They're dull, or they just convolute themselves, or they try to dig themselves into deeper holes with story details or story beats, and it just doesn't hit the mark on any of them. For, at least for the majority of these movies that we're saying,
Yeah.
like that's the common thing I've noticed.
Yeah, I
One
think-
of the women, sorry to interrupt you, one of the women who helped write Pacific Rim is writing the next Jurassic World movie.
Oh.
Is
And the Ryan
part of the
Jurassic
writers.
World, the Ryan
Was
Jurassic
bad
World
already.
is bad.
Oh.
Like that is one of the.
I would
worst
say
screenplays I've
Jurassic, the
heard.
second Jurassic World is the best so bad it's good movies of this year.
You can have a good time with Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a fine
Man,
time.
that,
with
I just
Jurassic World.
remember being so mad in the theater.
I know because I sat
I mean,
next
the
to you.
kid-
When I get mad in the theater, I do these weird huffing sounds and like thrash my arms
He
around
does.
in disappointment because I don't want
Here,
to be loud. But I
here's
wanna
my
express how
imitation of
angry I am.
Kyle
Do it,
in
do
the
it.
in the theater. So something will happen and he'll just go. 2 seconds later, he's looking around and it's like, shut up! It's like, stop talking! I hate the movie now because I hate you! That's me in the movie. It happened 30 seconds in, I remember. It was just like, oh. And I was like, Kyle,
There
in my head I was
something
like,
really stupid in the first
you
place.
hate this movie. We've heard Chris Pratt say hello. Like, that's all that's happened.
It's just there's just so many times in that movie that just angered me. Like I just can't believe the stuff that they
I know.
added in there was just
My favorite part.
unnecessary.
Little girl at the end.
Oh my god, that
she
was
opens the door.
the dumbest.
They're like me. Because
God,
she's a
that's-
dinosaur.
She's a.
I really did. Spoilers, hate the cloning thing.
What was
I
that?
don't even
What
remember
part in Jurassic
the
Park
movie
of
very
any
well.
movie
Cloned
was
his daughter.
cloning bad for you? And we don't. Who's the little girl?
I mean,
I don't care who this
Okay.
little girl is. Oh god,
It's better than the Predator being a loser.
It's better than Pacific Rim that half the time feels like it's a student-directed movie. Like this, there's like one scene when they're all like standing around a table figuring out a plan, and it's just like
it's better
so
than the Meg.
No,
so
it's not.
poorly directed. I haven't seen the Meg, so I don't know.
I haven't either.
Meg
I
is
really
clearly
wanted to
good.
see it and missed it, but I wanted to see it for the simple reason. Does Jason Statham fight a shark?
Yes.
A giant shark?
Yes.
A megalodon, if you will. Then I'm sold. That's a good movie in
Does
my
on
eyes.
occasion, but it's not as good as you think.
It's pretty good.
I will walk in knowing this is going to be a pile of fecal matter, but if Jason Statham punches a shark in the water in the face, I will have a good time.
Are we talking about the Meg now?
We're talking about the Meg.
Yeah,
Alright,
I'm ready. to talk.
Spoilers for the Meg. He needs to get into it just in case. We'll send a spoiler warning.
Okay, so for me, with these with these type of B-rated movies, like I'm not the biggest fan of them.
B-rated.
Like it's pretty much a
The Meg is
B-rated.
the
A+,
It-
5.
A minus.
But
Yeah,
those type
all
of
right.
movies usually do not understand how to toe the line between like taking itself seriously, but at the same time being cheesy and having fun with it. The Meg actually did, and I loved it for that. Like I thought Statham played the role of the straight and narrow-minded guy just wanting to beat up a shark perfectly, while everyone else was just like around him saying the weirdest stuff while trying to catch a giant shark. And it was thoroughly enjoyable for me. Like I was very surprised, especially because that's not my cup of tea usually.
So, did you see the movie or did you just watch the trailer?
No, I was in the I was in the front row. I was the only one there, and I just had a ball. It was a great time.
Because what you described is what I expected from the trailer going into the movie, but what I got was a movie that was asking to take it seriously, and it had scenes that came out of nowhere with characters you barely know, that had like crazy emotional sequences and death scenes that were clearly made for sometimes Chinese audiences because they knew it was going to chart better in China.
Yeah, they probably did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I understand where you're coming from with that, but that was part of why I enjoyed it, was because all of a sudden they would just switch to like making like the most random campy jokes while fighting a shark as like some guy's best friend just died. Like, for whatever reason, like that stuff just worked for me in this.
I just don't think they took it far enough with the comedy in the movie.
But I feel like if they did like go a little too far, that's when it would like turn me off. So I thought like it
would turn me on.
To be fair to your point, I'm looking at the stats right now, and
The stats of what?
the
Oh,
Meg.
Meg.
Kill count 854.
What do you mean by
Punches to the
stats?
shark's face by Jason Statham, 17. One roundhouse kick. No, I'm looking. It did. The Meg made its most of its money in China
Yeah.
with $153
It
million.
weirdly made a lot of money here
It
too.
made $145 million here domestically. It cost $130 million to make. It made $530 million. That's a profitable
What's its
film.
Yeah.
What's its Rotten Tomato score?
Probably low.
So that was the best segue ever. I've pulled 4 of the movies we've talked about, and I want to have a little guessing game on who do you think has the worst Rotten Tomato score of Jurassic World, The Predator, Pacific Rim, and The Meg. Rank them, all 3 of you. So take a minute to think about
What are
it.
they again?
Jurassic World,
listening, but say it again.
Jurassic World, The Predator, Pacific Rim, and The Meg. What do you think has the lowest Rotten Tomato score to the highest? Rank them in your order.
Okay,
Kyle will start, rest you can think.
I think the lowest one is The Predator. The one after that would be Pacific Rim. The next one is going to be, I'm going to say The Meg. And the one after that is going to be Fallen Kingdom.
What do you guys think?
Jurassic World, I think, is the worst ranked.
You think Jurassic World over, you said
should
The
be.
Predator, didn't you? You said
I
The
think
Predator.
more people
The Predator
probably
is-
saw Jurassic World.
I think the worst ranked one, or the worst rotten score is...
What do you
Predator.
think the highest is, Alex?
Probably Meg.
You think The Meg's the highest? What about
I
you?
think Meg's the lowest and Jurassic World's the highest.
Kyle got it dead on.
Oh!
The
Wow.
Predator
Honestly, I had no idea
is sitting
what
at
the
a
scores were.
32% on Rotten Tomatoes at number 4. And then it goes to
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim at 44%. The Meg has 45%. And Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom has a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
That is
I had no clue.
crazy.
I don't really follow Rotten Tomatoes anymore.
And somehow Aquaman is like a 76.
Really? It's a 76 now?
That's pretty good.
I think so.
I'm actually kind of surprised.
Yeah, I think that's.
I'll look up the
I
stats.
thought it would be like 60. I don't know. I mean,
It should be like a 20.
Alex
65.
and
That's too
I,
high.
65. Alex and I did kind of give Aquaman the short end of the stick in like our spoiler review. We talked more negative than positively, but I think there is good things to be taken out of Aquaman. Like, it's definitely not the worst of like the DCEU or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty close though.
it's really not.
Got him.
It really is. One more thing that I hated about Aquaman, gotta bring it up. The action scenes,
Oh, boy.
specifically in the first half of the film, they were all just people would be talking, and then there would be an explosion, and the characters would get surrounded by these people,
Yeah.
and then that people would look at them, and then they would just win, and it happened 6 times.
I think that's the joke.
But I don't think it's supposed to be
I
a
don't think
joke.
That was a running gag.
I don't
It's
think
not
that's
supposed to be a
I don't
joke.
think that's supposed to be the joke.
I
I'm
guess
actually
I
with
really
you,
enjoyed
Jordan.
this.
Let's play another
That's
game.
why the movie is...
A game?
I wanted to play another game with you guys.
Oh no.
What?
How much money do you think Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom ended up making worldwide?
$1 billion.
Take a guess. We got $1 billion. Do you guys think higher or
Let's
lower?
say 900,000. 100 million, I mean.
You think it made $100 million?
900
$900 million. You can go higher or lower.
I'm gonna go with
I don't know why I started.
$2 billion.
$2 billion.
Okay, that's just
Look, I'm pretty
absurd.
sure one of these two are right. I'm pretty sure it's in between that.
You could have guessed anything lower than that. Though. There's like what 4 movies that have ever made $2 billion worldwide. There's 4,
Thank God.
and it's not Jurassic World. Kyle would be the closest. It made $1.3 billion. That's
For some
crazy.
reason, people were suckers to go see it. Like I don't get it.
That's crazy though.
Dinosaurs.
Looking up the
Okay,
all-time.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Like I'll give them that. My kids love dinosaurs.
Looking up the all-time though, I didn't realize that Avengers: Infinity War is the 4th. Avengers: Infinity War is $20 million from passing The Force Awakens in theaters. That's crazy.
People
That is a
love
crazy
Avengers.
stat.
And
And it didn't even
dinosaurs.
pass $1 billion here in the States.
Did it
It
not?
only made $600 million, a little under $700 million
Oh.
domestically, but it made over $1 billion. It made about what Jurassic World made altogether, just worldwide.
Oh, okay.
So that's crazy. That's
Black
a
Panther
crazy stat.
Made 700 here, right?
Yeah, Black Panther was the highest grossing movie of the year. Force Awakens didn't make $1 billion. It was just it was around 930 million
in the U.S.
in the U.S. But then made $1 billion. It made less overseas, but it made more here. So that's why it's only about a 20 million off, which is just that's a crazy stat. Movie Meals. It needed a lot to catch Titanic.
Do you guys have a name for your fans?
Yeah, movie meals.
That's it?
Our little
That's what.
They're
our
the
little
meals.
bite-sized snacks is what we call our
Snacks.
Let's
fans.
not call them that. Movie mealers.
You're my little bite-sized snack.
Movie diners.
You,
Movie eaters.
movie
How about
makers.
people?
Human
Hey fans,
beings.
comment below and let us know what you think you should be called.
I'll do that after you post this video.
I'm sure you
You
will.
just comment first.
So, since we're still talking, or we're going to transition back to the worst movies of the year, I don't think we ragged enough on The Predator. It
Please,
needs to
you have
happen.
the floor.
No, I want to hear why you hated it.
Me?
Yeah, you hated it too, you said.
All right. Interestingly enough, I saw. I forget which one came out first, but I saw Predator and Meg kind of back to back weeks. I think they came out around the same
I think
time.
May came a little
Meg
before.
came before because
Yeah.
we watched Predator here and you watched Megan.
But I have pretty much the exact issue with Meg as I do with Predator, and they didn't take the comedy and the silliness far enough with Predator or Meg.
I'll give you that.
Mhm.
I'll give you that. Because, like, the first Predator, I thought did that pretty well. Like, it was a funny movie, but at the same time, like, there was some
First
pretty
Predator was a
solid stakes
horror
in it.
movie.
But they got kind of hard sci-fi later on. If you've seen like the 2010 Predator or whatever,
Yeah.
and Alien versus Predator, which was kind of silly, but it was still for the time pretty hard sci-fi.
Yeah.
So this one, I expected going in to also be pretty hard sci-fi, and I expected it from the trailers. It looked pretty shit. But I got why.
Fecal matter. It looked pretty fecal matter.
Wow, the
No! Now I've got to bleep the video.
classy guys is out here burning out swear
Anyway,
words.
why I like the Predator more than the Meg is because I went into it thinking it was going to be hard sci-fi, and what I got was something that made me laugh, and purposefully, not by accident. Like,
Wait,
it
now are
actually
you
had-
arguing that the
I
Predator's
don't-
better than the Meg?
What?
Are you now arguing that the Predator's better than the Meg?
Yeah.
No, I just want you to crap on the Predator.
Also, no, first, you have an obsession with hard sci-fi, apparently.
I have a good hard sci-fi.
This was not the year for him.
I
That's-
watched Dune all the way through.
The whole-
Big accomplishment.
You also watched Christmas Carol.
You know that's pretty hard sci-fi, right? Yeah.
I don't know where you're getting that the Predator's like funny on purpose. It's
It's
not,
not.
funny on purpose.
It had good jokes.
That doesn't mean it's
It had
what?
good jokes because
There
it
were a
was
couple of
so
good jokes.
bad that you just had to laugh along with it, but not in
Wait, the
good-
Predator that came out this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were a
It-
couple
there-
good
it
comedic
was-
moments.
It was trying to be funny.
No, it was not.
It was.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it
If,
was.
if it did, it did not work.
You guys, okay, I'm chiming in here. The Predator took itself incredibly seriously, so its jokes are taken as serious to the characters, but the jokes aren't really that funny. They're just over the top, a little absurd, and just kind of, it's like, why are you cracking that joke at this time? There's an alien ripping heads off, and this is what you're doing. Granted, few of those worked, especially by Keegan-Michael Key. His jokes really worked, and he was probably the highlight of the movie. Like, Sterling K. Brown, get out of there. I wish they all would have died early. Like, I wanted a bloodbath, and instead we got dogs, alien dogs running around and being I hated the more I think about the Predator, the more I hate it, because I love the original so much. The original is a horror movie. It's got great comedy because it's Arnold, and that's why that movie works. And it's a battle in the forest of these alien and this guy just trying to survive, and that's why it's so great.
I wish Shane Black would just go back to making things like The Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
He did that like a year ago.
He did it in 2016, 3 years ago.
Oh no!
Got you there.
What's he doing next?
Hopefully not another Predator movie.
That would be horrible.
You know what's weird?
What did the Predator make? I'm gonna look that up while you
He
talk.
was one of the cast members of the first Predator, and he was also a ghostwriter for the movie at the same time. So it's weird that he wrote this. Like, you would think, like, I don't know if he was trying to take it in a different direction or what, but you would think, like, after being at that project, like, the first time it happened, he would be like, okay, I know what I should be doing in this one to revamp it, and I don't really get what went wrong.
It's weird. He has a lot of hits, and then he just has a lot of random misses in his... Because he wrote Lethal Weapon, and then he has Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and then a lot of people don't like Iron Man 3, even though I think it's better than a lot of people think it is.
It's a good Shane Black movie. It's not a good Marvel movie.
The Mandarin was very not Mandarin.
But then he has The Nice Guys that was just brilliant.
Nice Guys.
The Nice Guys is really good.
And that's where his humor works, because it is them
yeah.
taking themselves seriously, and that humor works in that world.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work in the Predator. And it's not what you want. It's just not. I just hate it. I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. Movie meals, I hate it.
I wanted it to be The Predator with Key and Peele. That's what I wanted.
What?
I wanted it to go.
Peele's not even in it.
What movie did you think we were going into?
Look, I thought it was going into like another shitty Predator movie.
You're the
Fecal
classy
matter.
one here.
Fecal matter.
I have to stop.
This guy over here, what's he doing? He's killing me. He's killing me.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, Predator, not good. Wish it went further with where I thought it was going, but it had its ups and downs as far as comedy goes.
Definitely
Just
better than
downs.
Pacific Rim.
I'm just violently untrue.
I mean,
To be fair, I also don't remember Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim Uprising was really disappointing. Like, I'll give it credit for at least some of its action, but even still, like, the first Pacific Rim's action was just so incredible. Yes, like, you could see it a lot better in the second one as compared to the first one, but even still, like, I can remember plenty of shots that were just awesome the first one, but the second one, it just felt so plain and dry that
It felt like it had a shaky script at best. Couple of charismatic actors, especially John Boyega.
Yeah.
But then, to me, it felt like I
love
don't
Finn.
know who directed it, but it felt like the director just had no grasp at what they were doing, and every scene felt like it could have been directed far
It's
better.
directed by Stephen S.
The
DeKnight,
characters were so disappointing.
who helped write it.
Because you're right, like, there are charismatic actors in that movie, but they just have the most plainest characters. Like, literally...
And
coming out
plain
of the movie,
dialogue.
We complained about, like, the main... Well, I guess not the main female lead, but, like, one of the female characters in that movie, and she was only there to kiss the guys and just walk away. Like, that's... I know nothing else about her character, and that was, like, the same thing throughout every one of them. Like, there's no distinction. Like, they're all just plain... with no development. Like, I know it's like a robot versus monster movie, I get it, but at least, like, give me a reason to want to, like, follow them.
And, like, the difference between, like, a good action movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, but that's enjoyable, like Mission Impossible or John Wick, is there's some character stuff, but they just focus on having really well done action scenes and having an interesting enough plot that keeps you engaged, and Pacific Rim just didn't do that at all.
Yeah.
Pacific Rim Uprising was the most disappointing movie of the year for me. Because I was really big fan of the first one.
Big fan.
Great silly action movie with some depth. And I love that kind of shit. I'm glad you mentioned
Fecal
John. I'm glad you mentioned John Wick. Because
I love John Wick.
Because the first Pacific Rim was kind of a John Wick for me, to where it like came out of nowhere and it was just great.
Yeah.
Because at the time I didn't know who the director was or anything.
You didn't know Guillermo del Toro
Yeah.
back. What a loser.
Oh. All right, we're going to do a transition. We're going to do a transition here. We're going to do a transition.
I'm nervous.
So now I'm going to ask you guys, we've talked a lot about the crap, the fecal matter, if you will, of 2019. So now the question I want to ask is we're getting, we're getting through the show here. So I want to ask you guys,
Yes, we are.
what is,
Okay,
Kyle and I talked about, we made a most anticipated movies of 2019 top 5 list. I want to expand that conversation. I want to know TV, cinema, whatever it is, what is the number one thing in 2019 off the top of your head that you were the most excited for?
Young Justice season 3.
Young Justice season 3 is already out.
It came out in 2019.
It is
I
2019.
just saw it. I love it already, and I can't wait for
this guy's a loser.
You get one pick. You get one pick. This is the thing you were the most excited for. Nothing tops this. That's the rule. So, Kyle, you can take Young Justice back because you interrupted me. Let's roll the clip back. Let's roll the clip. We don't have a clip. That's a Christmas tree. You and them are fans. I'm fans.
our movie.
This is the one thing you're the most excited for of anything else. No takes backsies. Now you may answer. What is your
All right, I can go.
what is your number one thing you're looking for?
There's
anything in the you make it a book if you want. Make it a calendar. I don't care.
a calendar.
What
What is this guy doing?
Running my show.
My close second would be Star Wars.
Episode 9.
Episode 9 would be a close second.
Oh,
But I know we're going to be getting more Star Wars in the future. And this is the last season of Game of Thrones. And
I thought he might go
cannot
there.
Wait.
I thought he might
cannot
go there.
Wait. I'm freaking
they showed a
out.
little clip at the Globe Globes, and this guy and I lost it.
You guys went out of your mind.
Kyle, there's no comparison. Game of Thrones. It's the last season, Kyle.
It's
Are you taking
Kyle
Game of
hasn't
Thrones
seen
too?
Game of
Kyle
Thrones.
hasn't
2 votes for Game
Kyle
of
hasn't
Thrones.
seen Game of Thrones.
I have seen the
He
first
sees
two
like the
seasons.
first 2 seasons,
And
and
I
we had a
still
long
can't get
discussion about
He
it at a
hates
bar
good
once.
anything.
It's
Look,
just beyond.
He
He
likes
loves a
the
good
man.
sitcom. He loves a good sitcom, though.
I do love a good sitcom.
He loves a good
Game of
sitcom.
Thrones, like, I understand it's fantastic. Like, I understand why people like it so much. For whatever
you?
reason, like, it's
2
just,
seasons in, you
haven't
really
even
understand,
seen the
huh?
3 best seasons yet.
I was
Yeah.
trying. I wanted to at least get to the Red Wedding while I was catching up, but even still, like, for whatever reason, like, I don't know. Like, it's not. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know what it is.
Young Justice is pretty distracting, huh?
You got him?
Shots fired.
That is. Hey,
Shots fired,
that's
movie
a very
deals.
good show. I love that show.
Got 2 episodes into Young
Also, wait,
Justice, and then
something else-
bailed it on it.
Something else that I'm super excited for is the
You get one.
second half
You
of
get one.
season 3 of Attack on Titan.
Oh, you got to sprinkle that anime in every episode with
Very
this guy in
excited.
here. Yeah, that's gonna be real
Very
fun.
Hi, Shiro. Sorry. speaking of
Season
anime, is
4, I think, also drops in
This
April,
spring.
Does
Yeah.
it drop in April?
Yeah,
which means you get Game of Thrones, you get Endgame,
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan,
Almost.
and
Almost.
that
you
also in
took
April?
your number 1.
Well, not in April.
When the streaming
Spring.
service drops, you'll get the final episodes of the Clone Wars on the streaming service.
Pretty nice.
Did we go? We went
What-
through all 3 of you.
what's
No, we
yours?
didn't. We didn't get Kyle. What's
I-
your number 1 thing you're looking forward to the most?
I don't know yet, honestly. I mean, for movies, like, it's definitely Avengers Endgame.
You get
and then-
1 pick of all media.
It's it's a big year.
It is. a big
I know
year.
it is, and I've picked one. So what is your
What was your
one?
pick? Was I not paying? Oh,
It's my show. No, Game of Thrones is not it. As
It's
I'm with
clearly
you.
Star Wars.
Star Wars what?
the movie.
Episode 9.
Nope. Star Wars: The Mandalorian is the thing I'm
Oh,
honestly
right,
the most
show.
excited for.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian to me brings. To see what Jon Favreau can do with the highest budgeted TV show they're saying ever in existence, it's what Disney wants their version of Game of Thrones to be. You're going to the gritty underworld, bounty hunters, Mandalorians. That's what I want to see, so I am losing it to see. Because he's not directing all the episodes. He's the showrunner and producer, and they're taking Dave Filoni, who helped George Lucas create the Clone Wars and created Rebels, which are both fantastic, especially Rebels in the end of Rebels. Oh, goodness.
Rebels.
Yeah,
This guy
you
doesn't
gotta
like
watch
Rebels very much.
You absolutely
Well,
need.
that's what
You need to watch the final
yeah.
season. Expands so much on what the Force can do, and it takes you to places I couldn't even imagine. Like it's incredible.
So did Clone Wars. But
Clone Wars
to
does too.
compare, haven't seen.
The best thing about the Clone Wars is the Clone Wars. Clone Wars brings in some of the legend stuffs. It brings in Darth Bane and makes him canon. It brings in a lot of that stuff, which is really cool. And Yoda, it's weird. Clone Wars, one episode, Yoda's hanging out with a droid no one's heard of that no one cares about, and it's a goofy episode that's definitely for kids. Next episode, Yoda's hanging out at the Sith Temple exploring stuff, and you're like, what is this? And it's just so, yeah, Clone Wars.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Naruto.
It's so invested.
Lot
Oh,
skippable.
sprinkle that anime in.
Lot to skip in Clone Wars. But if you get the right list, great show.
Oh, it's amazing. But yeah, The Mandalorian is what I am very excited for episode 9. If you want to see my thoughts on that, go check out our most anticipated video up on the channel. So Kyle, what is your number one? You get one pick. I had one pick.
I do have to think that it's sorry. I do have to think that it is Avengers Endgame, to tell you the truth. Like, this is a big deal for me. Like, I've been in love with all of these characters back when I was younger, and the fact that Kevin Feige was able to make this universe that he's come to give us in the last 10 years is just something else. Like, that really is like one of my most hyped things.
When I met this man, all DC, slowly but surely it switched around.
Because the movies.
Because the
Because
movies.
Aquaman sucks.
Bad.
It is.
That's kind of fun. It's a good time.
What would you guys say are good DC movies? I would say Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Aquaman are probably the real
Of the new DC?
the DCEU. I would say
Wonder Woman is really
I would
good.
say those three.
Yeah.
I think
Love Wonder Woman.
I think Man of Steel aims pretty high, and I think it succeeds.
Hits.
But it's a little boring in the third act. It really falls apart.
Oh,
But I think it's
completely
positive,
disagree.
and then I think the rest of them are all terrible.
See, I think that's
You're the
you just
worst.
described.
I
Wonder Woman's
think
third
Justice
act falls
League and
apart more
Aquaman
than
are
Man of
close, are a
Steel.
little bit better than Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman. But all four of them are
Suicide Squad is the worst.
so depressing. No, I think Batman v Superman is the worst.
Nah, I can handle the
And-
Batman v Superman
and
special cut.
I defended Batman v Superman in the theaters because I just wanted to like it so bad, and then when I rewatched,
me.
but then when I rewatched I watched the director's cut, and I was like, this is one of the worst movies I have ever seen.
The director's cut did make me angry because I was hoping like it would fix some things, but
And
it really doesn't.
It just adds length to an already terrible movie. And it's
Fixed
makes
the
me
editing
more-
for me, so I was made it
I'll
better.
give it that.
I
Like, it does fix the
actually watched it after Wonder Woman came out because I was like, well, maybe I'll be more interested in Wonder Woman, and I still just hated it more. It just DC just makes me really sad because they could be.
You excited for
so great.
Shazam? We got
No.
Shazam. No.
I'm weirdly not excited for it,
No.
but maybe that's good because maybe I'll end up liking it.
What about you, Mr. Augusto?
I'm kind of interested in Shazam.
I think
I'll be there
Shazam's
to
gonna
watch
crush.
it. I'll be there to watch it.
I think
Sure.
Shazam is gonna
I feel like
crush.
people need one more trailer to really decide. Because I don't think the first trailer gave enough for audiences to be swayed.
I completely disagree.
I
I
think
think
it,
it has sold so many people. I mean,
Really?
you see it
I
on
also
Twitter
think
all
so,
the
too.
time. People talk about
I've
Shazam.
heard that people very much were nervous about it just on the idea of it, and when the trailer dropped, people were like, "Oh,
I
this
think
actually looks
so
pretty
many common people
Alright.
are not even going to know it's really connected to the DC
Yeah.
universe, and they're just going to see a kid who gets to be Superman and still act like a kid, and they're going to be like, "This looks incredible."
And for the
And they're
people
gonna go.
who do know it's connected, that might be a good thing if it disconnects itself from a crappy universe.
Well, I think
Well, it'll be in the universe, but it just
But
isn't
it
gonna.
seems disconnected enough,
Yeah.
at least in itself.
Kind of like Wonder Woman was the most feels disconnected.
100 years.
I mean, even Aquaman.
Not 100 years.
Even
Pretty
Aquaman
much, yeah.
made sure
It
to
took place in
disconnect
World
himself.
War One.
Yeah, that's 100 years.
That's a yeah.
Yeah,
What was that?
I-
That took place in the 20s?
No, in the
18s?
Teens.
I don't remember.
So about 100 years, yeah.
Okay, you're right.
calm down, all right.
You know what movie I feel like I should be so excited for? And every new trailer comes out, and
Captain
I just
Marvel.
yeah, Captain Marvel.
Did
I
you
love.
watch the new one?
I did watch the new one, and
So didn't Sway.
I was just as
Wow, really?
unimpressed
It's
as
been
I
100
have
years?
I
been.
feel like it's the
Gotta
best,
double
the
check.
best one.
And it's weird because I love Brie Larson.
That's what the internet's saying with you,
I-
Kyle. That they think it's the best one.
I
I can see
think
it.
I think her design looks great, and I'm so happy that we're finally getting a female lead in a Marvel movie. That's awesome. But for some reason, I'm just not excited. And maybe it's just because Endgame is looming, and it's like, well, I just want to watch Endgame and get it over with. Kind of how the Ant-Man and the Wasp seemed forgettable after Infinity War came out. But I'm just...
Loved it.
I'm not very... I mean, I'll obviously go see it, and I hope it's great.
I think
And
it's
I want
gonna...
it to be great, but I've not been impressed by the trailers.
I love those trailers.
They just
Well,
feel
me
like...
too.
No,
Watching
they just feel
Brie
like-
Larson fight an old lady.
They just feel
I
like
want 20
more of the
minutes that.
same Marvel to me, and maybe it's just because I have Marvel fatigue currently, but...
It's happening.
Maybe Thanos should have
Be
snapped
gone.
you. I don't think it's happening. Maybe just with Nick,
Yeah,
but
that guy.
I
the
think-
rest of the world is not.
I mean, I'll still go see it, though.
Avengers Endgame made $2 billion. There's no fatigue.
It'll
Or
be
Avengers
fine.
Infinity War.
Even oh, sorry, you go.
What happens after Infinity War is what I'm interested in.
Well, they're gonna.
No, I mean
Phase
after
4, right?
Endgame. I mean,
No,
sorry.
they stopped with the phases. The phases aren't really a thing anymore. They don't really do the phases.
They're always
Rumor
phases.
rumor is by that time the deal with Fox is going to be done, and then he's going to have the X-Men and the Fantastic Four to play with. So they're going to kind of reboot part of the universe. So they'll get rid of all the characters. We'll get our Doctor Strange 2 or Spider-Man. We're going to get Black Panther 2. We're going to get all those guys, and maybe like Iron Man stays around in like a chill role, but Cap's probably dead, and most of them are going to probably be dead. And then we're getting a lot of television. We're getting a Loki TV show on the streaming service. We're getting a Scarlet Witch show on the
Did you hear
streaming
the
service.
synopsis for the Loki show?
No.
It's incredibly dumb. So
No.
you can look it up and read it. It's really dumb. Like apparently the show's gonna turn Loki into like just a plain hero, and they're gonna blame like his anger towards Thor and the reason why he was evil for a little while on like the scepter that he used in the first Avengers movie. Like it mind controlled him to be evil, and it's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard because that ruins the point of like what makes Loki so special. Is that he's evil and he has anger towards his.
Where have you
family.
heard this from?
It's available. Like you can.
I'm
read
looking it up
anywhere.
right now.
Yeah, it just sounds so ridiculous to me. Like it just flips a 180 on the Loki character. I mean, I didn't really want a Loki series to begin with,
Yeah.
and it's not really selling me, especially now with that synopsis out. I can't remember where I last read it, but
I don't see anything about a synopsis. Everything's just saying he's confirmed that he's
Loki
going to do it.
confirmed.
Loki
That Tom
confirmed.
Hiddleston will play.
I'll have
No, I don't
I'll have to
see
find it.
anything.
I'll have to find it for you. 'cause
I don't see
I think I saw
anything.
like a week or two.
I
ago.
saw a single thumbnail once that said Loki, a good guy? Question mark. And that's all I know about that.
That's
Maybe.
probably how they said it.
Yeah.
Loki, a good guy.
Yeah.
I might just be missing it here, but yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for that streaming service.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're gonna have some good stuff out there. I just need to see like what they have to offer.
Yeah, but we're getting a lot, and yeah, that's how. And then he's probably going to play with the Fantastic Four and bring them in as the new Avengers. They could probably run the Avengers for another couple movies. There's a way to phase it out, I think, where it's going to be seamless.
I think they're gonna wait quite a few years to do that, but I think eventually we'll see Fantastic Four with the MCU.
Yeah, but you didn't think Guardians of the Galaxy would be in Avengers.
Well, I kind of with you. I mean, he's right,
So-
but
Yeah,
So can we
I did
take
think
your
that
word?
one.
the couple of years is probably around 5. They've already
Yeah,
announced
that's
Doctor
right.
Strange 2. That's going to come up. We'll get all these standalone movies, these sequels
Yeah.
first, and we'll get another. We'll probably have 3 total Spider-Mans by the time it comes out, and then he'll probably make a Fantastic Four movie or something and make that work. Or just make a new Avengers movie and just have all of them just show up. Do a time skip. Do an anime time skip and just jump 3 years in advance, 10 years in advance, and the heroes are just there. We don't need an origin story for the Fantastic Four or the X-Men. Let's just have them there.
True.
Let's pull a Spider-Man. He's already there.
That wouldn't be a bad idea, honestly.
Right, I always have good ideas. Never once had a bad idea in my life.
Really?
Really, take that to the bank. All right, well, as we wrap up here, been going for a while. Do you guys have any final thoughts of 2018, 2019 you want to bring up?
2018 was very long.
Same amount of time? as-
2018 to me.
It just felt very, very long and extended to me. Just because, I mean, we were talking at the Globes, we were talking about, like, when Barry came out, and I thought it came out in, like, 2017, because it just felt like it was that long ago, but then you guys corrected me. It was like, no, it was like the beginning of 2018, and I was like, oh my god. So here's to 2019, I guess.
It felt like a very underwhelming year to me. Like, and maybe it was because the beginning was so strong with Black Panther. Really liked Annihilation in the blockbuster world.
The
and then
summer hit.
And then we
The
got
end of summer was
and then we got
very great.
Avengers, Deadpool, Solo, and they were all good. And
Mission
then,
Impossible in the
then-
summer.
but then it just fell off, and like maybe a month
Hereditary.
later we got one good movie, and then this Oscar season to me has been a little underwhelming. Like,
I agree.
Last year there was like 7 or 8 movies that I was like, these are all great movies, and then the year before that there were the 2 frontrunners, Moonlight and La La Land, and this year like Bohemian Rhapsody, if it came out last year, I don't even think it would have a chance to get nominated. And it's probably could be a front runner.
Yeah.
I don't
Feels
know,
like a
with
very
you. I agree with
weak
you.
year to me. I don't know.
I didn't feel
I think it's a
underwhelmed
weak
about
year,
that.
too.
Like, I honestly like that it's more competitive than just like 2 front runners. I like that blockbusters are now having more of a chance to go up against like these indie darlings that people love so much, and that like it just feels like there's an equal shot, and that there's equal love for blockbusters, indies, even documentaries had quite a bit more love than usual this year. I don't know, like I just like that a bit more. Like, I understand it might feel underwhelming to a point, but for me, like, it was kind of like what I've been wanting for a while.
I think if Black Panther would have come out in 2017, it would have competed with all those heavy hitter Oscar movies.
Probably.
That's how
yeah.
good it is. And Black Panther is going to be the only thing that probably
Like,
gets nominated
if Get
for Best
Out
Picture.
came out this year, it would probably have a very good
It
chance
would like
to win
sweep
Best
a lot
Picture.
of stuff. I
Yeah,
agree.
and last year it got 1 Oscar.
To me, there's a lot of good movies. We've talked about a lot of good movies that I really like. I loved 8th Grade. I loved Star is Born was good. There's a lot of good movies. But to me, it's like watching a college sports game. They're good. They're talented. But it's not the pros. I want to see the pros. And that's kind of how I feel about it. Because it's like last year felt like I was watching Super Bowls. And I'm having a good time watching all these. But it's just doesn't feel as intense. I want a Shape of Water. Most anticipated movie for me in December was Bumblebee. Yeah. That's the one I was the most excited for. And Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was the best, but like, I don't know. I haven't been super stoked for all these. I haven't been like dying to see and go try to drive 3 hours to just go see like Shape of Water or something. Or
Yeah,
something
like Shape
that.
of Water, like Lady Bird or Phantom Thread even.
First Man.
Like First Man. First Man was
First
a good
Man
movie.
was really good, and
But
it's
it's
just
also-
gotten buried.
Yeah.
It's just gotten buried.
Which is a bummer, because
It should have came out a little bit later.
Shaky
it
camera work.
probably should have come out in November or December. I think it would have gotten more praise.
Probably. Instead of, what did it come out in October? Beginning of October?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it came out on my birthday. We saw it for my birthday. I remember, middle of October.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this year just seems so
I remember
stacked. 2019 just seems like there's just so many things ending. It's a stacked year for blockbusters.
Yeah.
And so hopefully the kind of Oscar movies...
Yeah, and then by
Kinda
the
get
time
back
we
to
get
that.
halfway, all the festival darlings start coming out, and you start hearing about all these other movies. Like A Star Is Born came out last year in the festivals, and it was like, what is this movie? I really want to see it. Like, hopefully it'll
Yeah,
pick up.
but the
They'll
blockbusters
come
seem
out.
like it's going to be pretty great this year. And it's probably just going to be another insane year for television that's just already been...
Oh, Game of Thrones, The Mandalorian, those 2 alone are enough.
Young Justice.
Clone Wars,
Attack
eh.
on Titan.
Attack on Titan, let's sprinkle more anime in there. All right, real quick, rattle it off. You get one answer. You got to take off the top of your head. Alex, who's going to host the Oscars this year?
The Kevin Hart.
All right, Kyle, who's hosting the Oscars?
John Mulaney and Nick Kroll.
God, that'd be amazing.
I want that so much.
Nick, who's hosting the Oscars?
Hugh Jackman.
Oh,
Hugh Jackman
that
coming
would be
back?
awesome.
I'd be all right with that. He did good the first time. I actually am with Alex. I think the Alexes are together. I think Kevin Hart's going to come back. I like that Ellen interview enough. So I think he's going to come back. But all right, we're going to wrap this up. So if you guys have any final words, say them. If not, I'm
Final
doing my
words.
outro. Any final words to the camera?
Final words.
Mad Max is overrated.
Exactly.
It's not.
Mad Max Fury Road is overrated. You heard it
Guys,
here.
comment below and let us know if you want to have these three on again on the Weaver Wire. It'll be back in 2019. I want to do it more. I won't be able to do it as much as I did. Well, not that much, but as much as I did frequently. But I want to keep doing these specials. I like having more people on. Get them on this couch. Get people talking. Have a great discussion. Doing the classic Alex thumbs up over there. And yeah, hey, you can follow Kyle on Movie Meals because that's where he is. My brother does a YouTube channel at Nick Weaver. It'll all be down below. Alex doesn't do anything but Taco Bell. If you want to have a sponsor, he's more than happy to do it. So, all right, guys. Thanks for checking out the Weaver Wire 2019. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great year. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
I think we need a doctor.
Kyle, give him your see ya, guys.
He's okay.
See you guys.